Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog. And today, folks, we are going to be joined by a very special guest. If you've been paying attention to the top Toronto Blue Jays prospects or just keeping a close eye on spring training, then you have absolutely heard about this legend. Welcoming in Chad freaking Dallas.
Let's go. Welcome, Blue Jays Today, Chad.
Thank you.
How's it going, man? How are you? Just tell us how are you feeling today?
It's good. It's good. Body's feeling good down here in Florida. The weather's not too bad. It was actually kind of chilly today. If you were, probably a little more in the shade, but once you got in the sunlight, it was probably one of the prettier days we've had so far, for sure.
Well, it's definitely better than what's going on right here. We were watching the spring training game today against the Baltimore Orioles, and it was blizzarding right outside. We're right outside, right downtown Toronto, so it was pretty bad.
Yeah. No, I've never experienced a blizzard. So
never. Well, no, if you get the call, and you're here early in March, oh yeah.
Have you actually ever been to Toronto before?
No, I've not. I've only parts of Canada is Vancouver. So,
okay.
But I love Vancouver, so I'm assuming I'd love Toronto as well.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say, like, we got to get you down here at some point, hopefully to play some ball, which we are going to talk about. But before we get to the whole baseball side of things and just hearing about you as a player and your plans and everything like that, let's get to know you, Chad Dallas, as a person, because we see the numbers on the page, we see the prospect profile. I want to hear about you. I specifically want to hear about what was going on this weekend, dude. I was keeping up with your Instagram story. A little St. Patrick's Day party, any party stories that we want to share, safe space here, dude. You let us know.
Yeah, no, me and a couple of the guys with girlfriends, wives, we were all just hanging out in downtown Main Street, Dunedin. There was like a pretty big festival down there for it, and it was a good time. Boys had fun.
Cool. Any restaurants, any bars that we should be aware of? We're going to be going down there hopefully sometime soon. Anything we should know?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get on Main Street, you can just pick any one of them. It's all solid.
Okay.
Do you guys know? I'm just thinking about this right now. Do you guys know what the hell St. Patrick's Day is even about?
I couldn't tell you.
No.
I'm here for the beer, the green beer, Nick. That's all I need to say,
man. Like, I actually have no fucking idea, but it's a great time regardless. So I'm happy that you had fun, man. One question that we wrote down here, and then we realized afterwards that we don't actually know if it's a smart question to ask because we don't know about how all the minor leagues work and everything. Do you guys get walk-up songs in the minor leagues?
Yes, we do. Yeah, every affiliate that I've played for so far has gotten a walk-up song, and I've switched it up a little bit throughout my 2 years so far, but I don't know what we're using this year.
What was your one last year?
Man, I used Square Dance by Eminem at first.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then Baylor with I know Pitbull's in it. I don't know if it's technically his song. He may be featured in it.
Mm-hmm.
That one got me going a little bit.
That's a show. We gotta start manifesting the next one, man. We gotta know. We gotta know what's coming up for you.
I don't know, man. I may stick with Baylor. I used Carnival by Timmy Trumpets in college, but now my buddy Connor Cook uses that. So depending on if he brings it back this year or not, we may see it again, or we just we'll be on the hunt the next couple weeks.
Can I gotta say this right now. Connor Cook, he's got to make the MLB because I so desperately want to talk about how this guy cooks.
Yeah, no, he's a dog. He's a dog for sure. We actually grew up about 2 different states. I live on the border of Texas and Louisiana on the Texas side. He lives like 15 minutes in, and we never, and I think we played for the same coach at 2 different points of time, and never truly met each other until draft camp in 2021.
Wow.
Knew who he was, never got to meet him.
Just a dude that you've been around with the whole time, and then what do you know? We're pitching in the same ball team. That's a funny story, man.
Oh yeah, I-10 Express is Tyler Z from the Vancouver Canadians broadcast likes to call it.
Wow, that's funny, dude. That's
Awesome,
funny.
man. I said to you right before we started recording whether we should call you Chad or Cheese. I got to know the origin of Cheese. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, have you guys seen the Goofy movie before?
No, I haven't seen the Goofy movie.
The Goofy
Have
movie.
you seen the Goofy movie?
Wow.
Is it like a baseball special?
No, like Goofy from like Mickey Mouse.
Just Mickey Mouse? No.
Yeah, no. Well, Pauly Shore does a voiceover for a character named Bobby, and to me, I thought he was like the cool guy in the movie, and he carried around a can of Cheese Whiz and cheddar, would howl and stuff, and then since I thought he was the cool kid, I would, do it around the house all the time. And it started out as cheddar, probably about like 7 or 8 years old. And yeah, it's just kind of moved to cheese and has stuck since 7 or 8 years old. Like my parents barely call me Chad anymore. It's usually just Cheese.
And so just to clear this up, did you give yourself this nickname, or was this given to you by your parents, by your friends? Did somebody else give this to you?
No, yeah, somebody else gave it to me. I think it was, like parents from friends and family. So, but it's stuck. Still goes on. Usually like a couple people a week, especially like new guys that I meet, slowly pick up on it. They're like, why are they calling you Cheese? And explain it to them, and then from there on out, there's no more Chad coming from those guys.
Wow, I was gonna say, I like that version better, because I was gonna say a minor red flag if you just decided like from here on out I'm Cheese. No, like it's like you made that for yourself, and it's like moving forward, that's it.
Oh no, it's from a movie, and then friends and family gave it to me, and it's just happened to stick from so long ago, which I embrace it now. I love it.
I love it. I even saw, speaking of Instagram stories, on your story today, you were called Uncle Cheese.
Yeah,
I had to give a little shout out to that. That was very cute, man.
Yeah, I'll shout out my 2 nieces, Honey and Drew. Yeah, I'm Uncle Cheese to them.
That's awesome. That's awesome, bro.
Dude. That is great, man. Let's talk a little bit about spring training and about that whole experience. I feel like this was a great eye opener to a lot of Blue Jays fans to see you, to get to know you, to get to know your stuff. Let's start at the beginning though, because you get the call up. You're coming to spring training with everybody, and then Ricky T, he goes down and he's dealing with a little something. And what do you know? Chad or Cheese freaking Dallas is the man, is the guy in the first game. Dude, talk to us about what that whole interaction was like. Like, how did you get told about that? And then what were your feelings after you found out, like, holy shit, I'm starting?
Yeah, it was so I was, for one, super cool opportunity to even be invited to big league camp and be around those guys. And then for the first game, I was scheduled to go the second inning behind Ricky T, and I was around him when I think I heard him say he felt something, but like I didn't really know what it was. And then so I started to assume that I might get pushed. You got to be cautious in spring training. It's so early, and didn't hear anything about Ricky, like kind of what was going on or about any of the pitching stuff. And I'm chilling in the hot tub, and Pete and Schneider come in there. They're like, "Hey, it's your ball tomorrow." And I was like, perfect. I love it. Let's go. And I was telling some people on the team and staff that it was kind of the same way at Tennessee. My first year there in 2020 is Garrett Crochet with the White Sox, who was my roommate at the time. I think it was like a couple of days before our opening day, said he felt some soreness in his forearm. And, for opening day, you're not going to, you got to be cautious, especially with a guy like that who ended up being, I think, the 11th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just being cautious with him. They told me the day before opening day that I was going to be starting on Fridays for Tennessee that year. And so it was nice to, I guess, have been in that situation before. Kind of crazy that it's happened twice. I know one was for an opening day of college and one was opening day of spring training, but just kind of having that experience of that didn't really put me in too much of a shock. So, but I was, it was really cool for them to have that confidence in me. And then the whole way through, Jano and a couple of the starters and big league pitchers, and Pete Schneider, they were just all talking, kind of keeping me calm, and just telling me, hey man, same ball game, different teammates, different fields. So just go out there and show your stuff, and it worked out pretty well that day.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I'm sure you remember 1 inning scoreless. How did that feel walking off the mound of a 1 inning scoreless game? You got 2 strikeouts, I believe. How'd that feel walking out, having that kind of performance?
It was nice. It was really good. Obviously, when you have a scoreless inning, it feels great. It was definitely a little weird. I know it's spring training, but it's always a little weird watching the second inning from the dugout on your start day.
Right.
But it was really good. It was, you kind of take a deep breath and, all right, it is really the same game. You just go out there, do your stuff. Don't try to do too much. Just control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to briefly talk about your game just because I also want to hear more about your spring training. The first thing that I noticed, we were both live on our YouTube channel watching your start, and the first thing I noticed was your slider. It really stood out to me. You were throwing it over for strikes. You were getting people to swing and miss. Tell me about how you implement your slider into your game. How do you use it to get batters out?
Yeah. As most people will say, strikes is the game. You walk people, you usually lose. And I'm not saying I don't walk people. That would be a little crazy. But, it's just, the goal is to fill up the zone. If they hit it, they hit it. You got a lot of really good defenders behind you playing defense. They can make a ton of great plays. And so, but yeah, I try to, early in the count, we're just trying to get in the zone. Usually if it's a righty, you try to start it at them, or maybe even a little inside, trying to get it to the outer part of the zone to them. And then, if you're ahead of the count, you can take your shot on a swing and miss out of the zone. And then if that doesn't work, you kind of get right back into it. But yeah, I added the slider my junior year. So my draft year of 2021 in college, it was actually supposed to be a cutter. I kind of used somewhat of a cutter grip. Actually, Brett Anderson, his dad, was my pitching coach at college. And so I took his cutter grip, even though he's a lefty, took his cutter grip, started throwing it, was getting around it a little bit. And so now it's a slider. So if y'all can, hey, sorry.
Oh, good. No, please.
So yeah, I just started to throw it. I think I called it a cutter that whole junior year. But it's definitely a slider, and now we call it a slider to be exact. And so
it moves it's wicked. That slider, especially against the righties, like you're saying, you could steal a ton of strikes early. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's definitely helped my game out a lot since I started throwing it, and it's definitely one of my favorite pitches. I love throwing it.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a cutter? Because I'll tell you right now, when you go to the MLB Blue Jays website, and you click on your name, you're up there, obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good, might I add. But when you click on your name, you see your whole breakdown. It says that you've developed a cutter. Is that true? Is that something that's going on right now?
Yes. Yeah. I added it last year. And it was actually in my second start after moving up to New Hampshire. We had talked about it and threw a bullpen. Here, let me get real quick.
No problem.
I'm kind of hoping that he brings the dog in.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm kind of hoping that we get the special dog.
Oh yes.
This is also my dog we got this offseason. His name is Cutter. So
oh my God. That's
great.
Perfect timing, dude. You can't make that up.
I thought you were gonna give me some sort of cheese name like Swiss or something like that, or cheddar.
No, that's Cutter, dude.
That's Cutter.
That's Cutter. You can't catch Cutter.
Yeah.
Okay, we got him.
I get jammed by Cutter a lot.
Yeah, no. We actually we got him this off season, and my wife asked, she was like, "Do you want to keep it baseball related?" And I was like, "Yeah, if we can figure something out." And then she's right there with me in throughout the season and stuff. So she was like, "What about Cutter?" And I was like, "It's perfect. I just added it this year." And so that's my guy. But
great.
Yeah, we were facing Portland, talking about the Cutter again, and fastball just wasn't really in the zone that much. And we had, the first 5 weeks of the season, I was with Vancouver. I would throw it in bullpens, but it was, sometimes cutting, sometimes playing as a four seam, sometimes sinking. So I didn't throw it in games. I wasn't comfortable with it, and kept working on it in New Hampshire. And then in the start against Portland. Fastball wasn't really in the zone. And in the pregame bullpen, we were throwing it a little bit, and it was, wasn't anything crazy at the time, but it was like doing, it was moving correctly. And so the catcher, Phil Clark, he just kept calling it. Was throwing it for strikes. It was getting better as the game went on. I probably threw it an insane amount that game. But from there, that was kind of like the birth of the cutter. And it helped a ton. I mean, getting something to kind of stay elevated and moving into a lefty away from a righty was really nice. And, when you add a different pitch, it just kind of builds your other pitches up because, you have to protect that and then your other stuff as well. So, but yeah, it's definitely a fun pitch to throw, and I've enjoyed it so far.
How confident do you feel now that you've gotten through spring training a little bit, through about 4 innings? How confident do you feel now in the cutter?
Oh, I love it. I throw it in usually any count to, get it for a strike. I usually try to throw it for a strike, not really looking for a big swing and miss. It's not, it's usually not that kind of pitch unless you're Mariano. So, but yeah, like you'll get the swing and misses and you'll get some soft contact. Now, obviously you leave it in the wrong spot, you'll get some hard contacts, but yeah, no, I'm confident in it. I'll throw it in any count, and it's definitely been a big help for sure.
Cool, man. That's awesome, dude. I love that. Well, it's just great to hear that you are further developing yourself and finding stuff that works for you, man. That's great. Let's cycle back to that second outing for you in spring training. Because this one's a big one. First inning, you go DJ, you go Juan Soto, you get Aaron Judge, you get Anthony Rizzo, you get Juan Carlos Stanton. That's your first inning right there.
Yeah.
You make it through there. You completely make it. Talk to us about what it was like standing on the mound and looking across from you. You got Juan Soto, you got Aaron Judge in the box. What was that feeling like?
It was very cool. In the moment, you're trying to stay cool, calm, and collected, focus on what you got to do. And then you get out of your outing and you kind of look back at it, and it's really cool. I mean, those guys are amazing ball players and they're huge. I'm not a tall guy. Not even 6 foot, more like 5'11". My friends make fun of me, say I'm shorter than 5'11", but
hey, 5'11" gang over here, man. Don't worry about it.
For sure. And seeing those guys in the box was really cool. I mean, you're getting to face guys that have done it for a long time at a pretty dang high level. So it was really cool, and it was nice to get in game against some guys like that as well. But yeah, super fun, super fun.
Yeah, and then as a whole, because obviously that must have felt really nice to be able to go there and deal with those guys, get through an inning against them. How did you feel about your spring training as a whole? Because at the end of the day, like, you only did get to go, I think it was like four and a third innings, right? Are you confident, or are you happy with what you showed off to not only the team and to the fans, but also like like Cheese Dallas, excuse me. Like, were you happy with what it was that you put out there on the field?
Yeah, it was. I mean, your goal is to just give your team the best chance as you're building up for the season. There's a couple pitches that could have been a little better, and hitters at that level make you pay for them a little more. And so, but that's something you just look back on, and then you start working on that stuff. And but yeah, no, I feel confident in how it went and how it's still going. There's always room for improvement, so we're always looking for it.
Yeah, well, actually, that's something I wanted to ask is, what is your room for improvement this year? What's kind of a goal for you in 2024? Because I know necessarily results is one thing, but like maybe just like building a new pitch or maybe throwing more strikes in the zone. Like, what is your kind of a goal this year?
And to build off of that too, one thing that we noticed, and I know that you've talked about this before, but a year ago or so, walks was an issue. And then boom,
right.
That's your focus. And then it's like you cut that down like crazy, man. And it's like the strikeout numbers went up too, and just everything got better. Like, is there an area like that this next year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're always trying to cut the walks down even when you don't walk a lot of people, because free bags are, pretty costly, especially the higher level you go up. So yeah, continuing to try to fill up the zone a little more, maybe a little more velo, and then we're trying to add a sinker right now, something to kind of get in on righties, and so far it's been working pretty good. I didn't throw any against. I think I started throwing it in game against Detroit the following week. But yeah, just trying to build confidence by repetitions, by throwing it more and more. And so as of right now, like, it feels good. Through some today, it felt really good. And it's just, like I said, almost like the cutter. It's a different look that the righty or lefty has to protect that with something also going in or going away from them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is like, kind of back to the walks, is that first full year that I had in 2022. I just, giving hitters way too much credit. Hitting's hard, and not that pitching's easy, but that you're in the advantage. Guy fails 7 times out of 10 as a hitter. He's a Hall of Famer. So
Right.
yeah, just not giving anybody more credit than they deserve. You gotta be confident in your stuff and know that you can get them out whenever needed, for sure.
Yeah. The whole trust your stuff mentality. You know what I mean? Just pump it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it play. Well, man, that's great. Honestly, I've noticed this spring training, you've just like kind of appeared on the map. This is your 3rd year coming into the Blue Jays organization. And yeah, I got to say, man, everyone's been talking about you. Everyone's kind of looking at you right now. Have you gotten that feeling too? Or is that something that's just like you're not really focused on?
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
I try not to focus on it, because just as you're doing good, the good stuff comes out, and when you're doing bad, it's not the best stuff. But that's how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with myself when I do bad either. So yeah, I try not to pay attention to it too much. I see some of the stuff, but yeah, focus on the stuff that you can control, and that's when you're out there on the mound, or when you're getting ready to get out there on the mound. So but yeah, it's definitely probably more so from this last year than the year before. As much, a lot of progress happened between those 2 seasons, and just going to try to build off of the last year for sure.
Yeah, well, speaking on building off of the last year, where do you have any idea where you're starting this year?
Not really. No, we're going to hope for trips. If not, go back to AA, and like I said, can control what I can control and try to build off of that for sure.
And more important, is Cutter coming with you?
We're not sure yet. Yeah, I know. My wife Madison gets to come up and make a couple trips each year. So he will definitely stay with her. And if she, gets to come up for more than just a couple trips, that'd be awesome. But I'd be shocked if he didn't make those trips. They don't get separated often.
You got to get the moral support,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it always wows me, actually, like how quick the notice is on this stuff. Like the fact that, I guess it makes sense that you don't necessarily know, but like, when did they tell you about those things? Like whether or not you're going to be in trips or AA or wherever you're going to be?
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, there's so many players in Florida right now for us, and you got to kind of spread it out with the meetings. Excuse me. So I'm assuming, the meeting's coming soon, or at least like the final meeting, because, stuff changes all the time with whether people get signed, whether people get injured, whatever the case may be, when, other decisions have to be made, not just mine, of course. And so we'll see. Yeah, but, we'll hope for AAA, and then if not, go back to AA and see if we can make it up there quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, man, wherever you end up, AA, AAA, MLB, wherever, you got some fans over here at Blue Jays today, okay? You don't need to be paying attention to what people are saying in the internet, because we will, and we got your freaking back, bro.
I appreciate you.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Cheese. We'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, thank you.
That was Cheese Dallas, everybody. Top Toronto Blue Jays prospects. Phenomenal human being. Incredible mustache. Wish I could do something like that. I can't. It's never going to happen. So, yeah.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members. You guys are absolutely awesome. And to our YouTube members as well.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
And as always, go Jays, go!